Sorry about that. That just happened to have cut that little thing I was talking about. Mouth breathing and deviated septums. Anyways, let's move on to these paintings here. I'll just move the tripod a little bit. Change the frame. Here we are. Ta-da! This is what I have to work with, everyone. You know, I'm just one dude. One dude with this room full of sentimental stuff. You know, there ain't much else here. Like there's not a lot. I don't know who people think I am, some like big bad evil person, if they do. But if they do, that's their problem. Okay. All right. All right. So this art talk is about courage, which is what I've named this Osprey, and doing something that's yeah. I'm just scratching my balls. Okay. I had to scratch my balls. I'm sorry. I finished this a few days ago, and it was the last painting on my easel before I was taken into custody and held hostage for a year at Hotel Middlesex, Hotel EMDC, whatever you want to call it. Things were very different, although not that much different. My dad was living here. My mom had moved out. She's moved back in. My dad has moved out with his new spouse. And here I am at 40 years old. People probably look at me as some sort of incel or basement dwelling weirdo or someone that's just not successful with women. I vehemently disagree with that. You know, as if I'm just some another Enobus, is it Enubis plunum, and one of many of the unwashed, I don't know, villainized masses. Just for the mere fact of becoming educated and speaking up for my principles. Now, all of that, of course, is an influence. There's some artists you can extrapolate or extricate from their surroundings, and for others, the artist is the artwork, like a walking disaster piece. That's only entertaining for a short period of time. And one of the reasons why I chose oil painting as my medium of choice is because it is so permanent, you know, hundreds of years. And the drawings are just as rewarding. They have their own character. And it's just like how earlier, um, singer, no, it's a Sargent, yeah. Sargent was primarily a watercolorist. He did his master's in his, like they all did back then. Did his little sketch out of watercolor in a book. So that's what he was doing most of the time. Right? It's not like uh, cameras were portable either. So considering all the technology at the time, you more or less you had to be good at something. And at this moment, I'm burnt out. I don't waste my time, trying to pound pavement for jobs, for work that I don't want to do, for money that is way too little, and a government that is not apathetic but is doing its very damn best uh, to spend everybody's money. Now, art and value. This art is worth more to me, and the stuff in this room is worth more to me than it is to other people. Because if it was worth more to other people, then none of this art would be on the wall. It would be in someone else's wall. But I think that some of these have actually, the ones that I've given away, they've ended up in the dumpster. I truly and honestly have that suspicion. I didn't panic when AI came into the foray of the popular culture, right? So like from the private to the secular, right? So from the individual inventor, and then which it propagates and proliferates through whatever means of media, and then becomes popular or becomes memorialized. Memorialized versus plus memorialized. It makes my brain tick in funny ways. So why did I do this? The fuck with the AI, quite honestly. I said this in the video for Phantasmagorgy, Spooky Orgasm, is to fuck with the AI. It honestly, I paint in a way that I've developed that I think makes it really hard for the AI tools to replicate. Excuse me, and I think my art does a damn good job of doing that. Except maybe like some of the more popular reference photos. It's also something that I would say journeyman level artists. That's what they do. They latch onto what they think is popular, or things that people that they want to surround themselves with, their influences, right? You look at people's studios, and you hope to see some sort of cinematic story, right? That's the whole thing, is that everything has to be cinematic. It has to fall into piece and be on time, be at its cue, right? Everything has to be synchronicitous. And if it's not synchronicitous, then obviously you're not optimized. You're not part of this this upheaval and a revolution of the dominance hierarchy thing. Um, and I can't say I'm innocent of that. Trying to create icons myself, or holograms, quite honestly, because that's what the old masters really figured out was again, like, say, in the same way that we would do with paint and resin, clear epoxy. The image always comes to mind of that artist that was, or is still, as of this recording, painting koi on resin, and then painting it again to get this three-dimensional object, or this illusion, in a teacup or something like that, before it got glazed in the oven. Now, I've borrowed that in a lot of ways, and different techniques to accomplish this painting in a very different way that Zoe came together. Now, I have a relationship with Mary Jane, with marijuana, and I'm not hiding it. I'm really not. uh, so I started smoking again within the past couple of weeks, and it's how did I feel about it at first? Well, it was overwhelming at first. It's like high school high. I hadn't smoked in like 2 years, so like I was really, really fucking baked. And so what I do, I played a couple of video games, and I had a nap. I kept doing that until I could manage THC again, and I like to smoke spliffs. So that's the two of them. It's tobacco and marijuana. That may be sacrilegious to some of you, but I found that I could not get into the flow state in order to do this painting because of emotional sentiments, right? And quite frankly, I withhold my own emotions quite frequently, and I'd rather put them into something like this than to let that poison intoxicate someone else. Now, other people don't exist like this. Their entire modus operandi is spite or pettiness. You know, this one-upmanship, always trying to be the biggest, the boldest, the brightest, the smartest, or the most dominant. When, quite frankly, you know, what they are is a waste of space. This, in my opinion, of course, is not a waste of space. I would have painted it if I thought it was. There are some pranksters out there in the art world for sure. And again, I just couldn't get down to doing the tedious stuff, like all the little brush strokes for the pine branches and the needles here, the leaves. It's just like I don't know. I had a couple of smokes, and then I was ready to go, and then it got finished. And most of this painting was done under the influence of marijuana. There are some artists out there that refuse to make art unless they're under the influence of something. They're intoxicated. But I'm not one of those people. I don't have a problem. I really don't. I understand and I recognize that any of my behaviors is probably because of the nicotine, quite frankly. How people misinterpreted that, I don't know. I don't know how that went over their heads, you know. My God. Anyways, what more going to say about this? Why the Osprey? Because I didn't want to do an eagle. I didn't want to do a peregrine or another common hawk. I wanted an osprey for whatever reason. I think it might have been because of Robert Bateman. It might not have been. I'll give him some credit where it's due. You know, give that old boy a little tap on the shoulder. And it was a real struggle at times. There's been through many different permutations in order to get what it is to what it is. And what I love about paint is its immediacy. Is that I get the color that I wanted on the canvas because I pre-mixed it on the palette, and then I get little surprises along the way with other colors or with other textures, and that's what makes something like this interesting for me to to visually touch with my eyeballs. You know, it's a feast. It's a feast in real life, as are, I would like to think, the other ones. Now this one will get finished. I don't know exactly when. Um, but it's a little bit dirty. It's got some hair on it. Uh, but this has certainly done the job, so to speak, right? I think I was starting. I wanted the Osprey to be something aggressive, and I wanted it to tear you apart. But I think that most predatory animals have this slight smile on their face anyway. So we don't want soft people. We want durable people. Yeah. How do you build a durable person? I don't know. It's not like a Duramax, you know. Shit. I'm probably at like 25 minutes for this right now. Other stuff that I really like is the feathers crossing over each other in the chin and in the crest or the center line to the crown of the bird's head. I think it has real movement. I think it has the capacity to move. And I did not get the shivers in the same way, the goosebumps as I have with previous paintings. But I don't think it has to. How do I feel about painting or creating art sober versus under the influence? I think that there are some real upsides, but some real negatives too. A lot of these people that became famous, they were all or nothing, right? They burned the candle at both ends. They had nothing else. I was smart. I would say I was smart in having other options, so that whatever this sanctuary or this gilded cage has some permanent or enduring value to me, but also to other people. I painted this because I wanted attention from Trent University. But by the nature of things, I don't know, or I don't think that they will ever acknowledge me. Again, acknowledgement is worth more than money. Acknowledgement allows you to have a reputation. It allows you to build your own business or your own career, right? Because you have these accolades and these markers of achievement. It goes both ways. It can be too much or it can be too little. Like, how do you motivate people? Well, I don't know. I'm just happy that this painting is finished, because being in a confined space against your will, and knowing that you have something like say this bicycle, or you make something like this, and it's Chinese water torture. It really is. It's like, oof, I'm staring out this window, and the only thing that's changed is that leaf over there is green, that leaf there is over there is brown. It used to be the opposite yesterday. And I said to my mom, I'm gonna give this one a name besides, the title is Courage. But I looked at this bird and I said this bird's name is Reginald for some reason. It's Reginald. I think he's a good bird. He's a very good bird. Um, I don't know. I don't think there's a whole lot more to say about this. It was more or less about just finishing something off. It's about accomplishing something or completing a painting because every you're expecting praise and adoration, but it doesn't work like that. So you better have another good reason to be doing it. Yeah. So now I gotta find more marijuana because and more canvases. Because after this one gets painted, I'm not painting over anything else. I'm telling you that. It would be a real foolish move to paint over any of these. And that's something that isn't immediately communicable. Not in any language, not in any art form. You know, is the quality of something just for existing. I don't know what word there is for that. Um, like, why is the rock valuable? Like, other than to what purpose we give to it. That's it. That's about it. I think that's all I'm gonna do.